To surrender is to give oneself. And in the context of self-development and spiritual embodiment, it means to give yourself, the little self, the ego, to your greater self, your soul, spirit, however you call that. And because we are multi-dimensional creatures, we have this physical body and the energetic etheric body, and then we have our emotional body and our mental body, and then we get into the more subtle spiritual bodies. And our essence spans all of these different levels and dimensions and expresses itself through them. And we know that true happiness comes from a harmonization between how our different expressions are showing up between the different bodies, so that there's a resonance, there's a communication, there's a communion. And the idea, the word, the process that we call surrender has to do with that inner opening up, which allows us to give the lower, so to speak, bodies to the higher ones, or the smaller ones to the bigger ones, because this is how things are made. Big things are made up of little things, you know? And is there ever a value judgment that a little thing is not as good as a big thing? Of course not. So the little thing, the physical body and its components and the emotional and the mental bodies pretty much correspond to the 3 lower chakras. And in order for us to be able to surrender those to the greater ones, which we can just basically, let's simplify things greatly and call it the heart, the great connector, that which junctions the horizontal plane of this earthly existence with the vertical axis of our spirit, which has beamed down to earth from heaven, and which is now arising from heaven to meet itself back up through this ascension process, right? So to give the lower bodies, to surrender them to the greater one, to the heart, to the great connector, to the spirit that comes through that, is basically a process of relaxation. And this is not about going limp. This is about learning, or remembering rather, to breathe. And to breathe rhythmically, and to breathe optimally, to breathe spontaneously, and to allow the breath to reach all the different parts of the body. And depending on the circumstances, this is going to be slower or faster, or more shallow or more deep. And what counts is that you feel the flow, that you're in the flow, that you are the flow of that. It's that easy. And it's also really easy because surrender happens in the present moment. So it's not something you're going to do tomorrow. You know? It's really, really immediate and tangible. And it really does come about through the breath. And of course, the intention, the desire, the emotional and the mental component to feel the desire to have a sense of connection with yourself, a greater sense of harmony and communication and openness and ease and fullness and expansion and groundedness, all these good things. To be grounded is to be present in the moment. And so, for example, the body can be more at ease in a coherent state, neurologically speaking, physiologically speaking. And then the emotions, the emotional quality is going to be commensurate with that. It's going to be some form of peacefulness, of enthusiasm, of optimism, we could say as well, cheerfulness, love, joy. What else? What else is it? Just feel into it. And what comes to you as you're feeling into this? The presence of the emotional body with the physical body that is undergoing, that is committing, that is experiencing a process of deeper connection and coherency within itself. And then, of course, the mental body as well lines up. And so the thinking is going to be, the intention to do this presupposes a capacity to imagine something that is desirable, that is bright, that is beautiful, that is good. And so the thoughts and the imaginings turn to this direction of beauty, that the feelings are as well turning to. And feelings, they don't lie. It's really about the truth of what you desire to experience, what you feel in the present moment. And so this is also really beautiful because this opening more and more deeply allows whatever is not in sync or in harmony with this desire and intention to surface. So the fears, the places, we call them shadows often in this self-development world, it allows them to arise, and the reason that they do, and it's not obviously necessarily, of course, always pleasant process. It takes guts, and the term the dark night of the soul is not a synonym for walk in the park. And yet, when that journey has been experienced and committed to and accomplished in air quotes, because there's a sense as well that there's more than one night of the soul. Perhaps there are as many nights of the soul as there are nights on this earthly plane in our lives when we go to sleep, and if we're awake we can look at the stars. And maybe as well at a certain point enough nights have been experienced that we do actually look at the stars and feel the beauty, the wonder, the exquisite mystery of this infinite cosmos, that we live on a little precious blue-green planet of. And we ourselves are so small upon this planet, and yet our capacity to feel wonder, to feel awe, and love, and connection, and gratitude is great, is infinite. And so this quality of infiniteness is the sense of connection between this finite experience of being in a physical body, which has its mortality and it has its skin, boundaries and such, and then the identity that we attribute to it and that we feel about it a certain way. This finiteness then gets surrendered, is given up to the greater self. It's really, really, really beautiful. And it's in every moment. So whatever practice you might have as well, anything, any particular way of describing the path to the core, the heart, the essence of the present moment is to be cherished as well, and to be surrendered as well to this greater being that is coming through you, that is coming through me, and that is what we are, which is why know thyself is the foundational direction of human wisdom. To surrender, I breathe. I breathe in every moment, and I invite this blissful breath. It comes and it goes, and it is what I am. And I can be doing anything at all. You can be driving a car, you can be nursing your baby, you can be running a race, you can be working at a desk, or walking in nature, and doing the chores. You can be up on stage in front of 1 million people. It doesn't matter. Wherever you are, there is that pulse. There is that pulse, unique, and so, so precious in your breast. And this blissful pulse within your breast allows you now to give yourself to it. You are giving yourself to yourself. Surrendering is not about giving up. It's not about abandoning and, throwing in the towel or whatever it's called. It's on the contrary. It's also, yes, I give myself to this greater principle, which is my being. And so we meet God, so to speak, halfway, and the halfway point is in the heart. And then through that willingness to meet, the outpouring through the heart floods every single cell all the way down to the toes and the soles. Yes, the soles of the feet and the palms of the hand and the tips of the fingers and the skin, all of the pores, and absolutely every organ, and all the way to the head top. And you can look at yourself in the mirror and gaze deep into your eyes and see that meeting. That's the meeting place, my friends. It's so beautiful. And it's a mystery, because also what happens when you do this is that, again, the emotional body is going to now be filled and released and allow whatever was crystallized as something that was getting in the way is now going to begin to dissolve into the ocean of your being. And as it dissolves, it gives itself up. It gives up the wisdom of whatever that was, whatever fear or anger or sorrow or a combination thereof also holds a quantum of love and of truth that was experienced. And so the empathy grows for yourself, and of course from yourself to others. And then the mind, whatever thoughts you're thinking and imaginings and your beliefs and your identities as well, surrender to this process. And this so deeply calms the mind. It allows the mind to open itself up to its true nature, which is like, oh my goodness, here I was staring at this, whatever it was, a fist maybe that was clenched, or something that, was left hanging, and the attention was focused on it and was making all sorts of stories about it. And now there's an opening, and you can look up and see how vast your mind is, how infinitely welcoming it is for whatever you choose to give your attention to. And so you can now place in your mind the jewels and the treasures and the exquisitenesses that come from your heart. Like every breath that you take and that you make. Yeah, take it from there.